In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a minimalist portrait using Illustrator, okay, not Photoshop. So you're going to open up Illustrator, and you can go to File, New, or on the home screen, you'll see something like this. And maybe make something, how about a square, because we're working in a grid pattern, a 4x4 grid pattern. So let's make this 10 inches by 10 inches, something like that, and you're going to create. Okay, I'm going to pop over here because I have something going on. So first step, you need to get your photo or decide who you're going to be creating in your minimalist portrait. So go over to Google, and I'm just going to do John Lennon so I can do the 4 Beatles, because we're going to do 4 of these and put them in sort of a grid shape to go along with our matrix or our grid unit. So the important thing to know when you're finding your photograph is it has to be straight on, not 3/4 view, but straight on. And it has to be high enough quality so you can see the shapes carefully. So here I have a face of John Lennon. So like this would not work, like that would not be good because it would just make things a lot harder. This nice straight on is going to be easy. So I'm going to either right click, or if it's a trackpad, just 2-finger click, and I can just copy this image. You might, if it's not going to let you copy, you could save image as, and that will save the file on your computer and you can place it in Illustrator. But I think I'm just going to be able to say, cancel that. Just going to copy, it's going to be easier. Copy image, then I'll go to Illustrator and just paste, Command V, Control V. Okay. So this is going to be sort of, I'm going to use this to trace the portrait. And I just want you to show you on the layers. I have my layers here, and here's my portrait, and I can turn the eyeball on and off to turn this layer on and off, but I'm going to be drawing on top of it. Let's start off with these glasses that are very iconic for John Lennon and would be really important in a minimalist portrait. So I'm going to use my ellipse tool. Yours might start off looking like rectangle. Remember, all the shapes kind of live together. The other thing I want to remind you is that if I hold down the Shift key, I'll get a perfect circle. So I'm going to do that. Then I can use my selection key to sort of resize this, holding down the Shift key to keep it proportional. Now, I don't know if I'm going to want to fill these. Probably not. So I'm going to go to Fill, None, Stroke. I'll just go with black for now, and you can just kind of decide the width on that, and then we can go back and adjust it. I'm going to copy this, Command C, paste it, Command V, so I have 2 of them. Then I'm going to do a little, use my pencil tool. Pencil tool is going to be really useful in this technique. It probably looks like a paintbrush to start with, but click and hold and you can get to your pencil. And I'm going to draw in this little bridge. I was getting that error earlier too. I don't know why. Just a little bit of a glitch. Try that again. Okay. So as you move along, go over to the layers palette and just turn off the portrait from now and then. So then you can kind of really see what you're doing. So I've got my glasses. That's good. Now I'm going to do the hair. Again, I'm going to use my pencil tool, and I'm going to draw the hair shape. Now, in this photo, it's cut off, but I think I can kind of imagine it. I think I'm going to sort of, and you want to kind of go carefully on this. You can let go and then keep just being really careful to go right back to where you began. And this pencil tool works. It will let us fill in the shape that I'm doing once I go back to where I started. Okay, so it's just a line now, but if I go back to the beginning, look really carefully next to the tool. See that little circle up here? So that shows that now it's a shape. So now I'm going to go over to my properties and I'm going to fill it with a color. Now, if you don't see any colors, like here, I can click here and I can open up a swatch library, and I opened up skin tones. That will be very useful for this tutorial. And then let's see, you can also go to color books and true match if you want like all the colors. But look, I still have my skin tones, and I think I want to just fill this with this dark brown. So I'm going to click on fill, and I'm just going to double click on this little color, and now I've filled that in. Again, I'm going to go back to layers, sort of turn it off. Okay, I like where this is going. So now I'm going to go back to my pencil again. I think I need to deselect this, so just click away. Now I'm going to add the other part of John Lennon's hair. I'm going kind of fast, but you want to do this carefully, maybe more carefully than I'm doing. Double click on it so I can get in that. And then let's see, do I need anything else? I mean, it depends on how minimalist we want this. I mean, that's, and so now that I've turned it off, I think this looks really funny. It looks like he's kind of bald up there. So I'm going to use my white direct selection tool, and I can click on this path, and I can just modify this path so that it's not looking so funny, like he has a bald spot or something. Maybe I want to bring this back a little bit. You can kind of modify as you go. I also really like now how this has created, it's because there's a black stroke on it. See how it's kind of defined that part? I think that looks pretty good. This also looks a little funny. I would probably go back and kind of modify this a little bit, but I don't want to spend the time right now with you all, but something like that. Let's see what happens when I put in lips. I might not like it, but let's just see. Okay, going to go back to my pen tool and trace really carefully the lip shape. Now, because this is a portrait and I want it to look like John Lennon, I'm going to be really, really careful about the shape. I'm not going to just do a general shape. I'm going to do John Lennon lip shape. Okay, I'm going to fill this with sort of a lip shape, a lip color. Let's see. I might need to define the top and the bottom lips, and I'm not sure if I'm going to like this or not. I think if I had the top lip a little bit more dark, see how his top lip is a little dark, so I'm going to go and I'm going to divide these lips actually now into two shapes so that it looks more realistic. So then I'll make this lip top a little darker than the bottom one, and then I just put these two together. I think the top one might need to be a little bit darker, huh? Let's see. And go back to my layers, turn this off, and you can kind of progress how it's going. So play around. Obviously there's some little problems in here, and I would go back in and be a little bit more careful, but that gives you the idea. So we want you to do 4 portraits. You could either do John Lennon in 4 different colors. So let's say, for example, you're just going to do 4 John Lennons or whatever person you've chosen. You can now copy this. I'm just going to move this over a little bit. I'm just going to use my selection tool. I'm going to drag a box around all of this so it's all together. Click on Group. So now when I copy this, I can go to Edit Copy or Command C and then Paste. Command V. Now I have 2. So I can move him over here and move this one over here. Let's make these a little smaller so I have a little bit more room. Remember to hold down the Shift key to keep things proportional in Illustrator. And so in the pop art movement, right, like Andy Warhol, which we showed in class, he would do multiples and change the color. So let's change the colors. Let's have this color, maybe this one be maybe not as realistic. So I'm going to ungroup this and select his hair, go back to the true match colors. Let's do something a little bit more fun, a little bit less realistic. Let's do it's kind of probably a good idea to keep the values about the same. So I'm going to do blue, dark blue there, and a lighter blue there, and then his lips I'm going to make maybe a purple, and actually the bottom lip is that lighter color, the top lip the darker purple. Okay, and then you would do that a couple more times so that you have a grid of John Lennon. Here's another version. If you wanted to do the whole band, you could do 4 people. Okay, and I didn't do this one. I got this off the internet, and so this is done by another artist. I couldn't find the artist's name, but this, I don't want you to think I did this. I'm not copying. I'm not using another person's art. But I just wanted to show this as an example, like if you wanted to do another band that had 4 members, or 4 members of a basketball team, or, you know, whatever it is, you can do different. But if you want, you can also just do a series of 4 same portrait, but different color combinations, like in the pop art style. All right. I do think it looks nice if you add a rectangle around this grid to make it kind of finished. So I just used my rectangle tool, right? And then used my line tool, which is also next to the rectangle, and created, created a little grid and put my portraits in that grid. Okay, that's what I did here to create the Beatles. Make it look good, make it look polished. This isn't just a quick tutorial. This is a work of art, and a finished product should take some time and look good in the end. All right, have fun.